Hello and good morning for some, good afternoon for others, and good evening for the rest of you. This is Phantom, and we are back with For the Ones We Love, Chapter 6, written by Flim Brothers. If you want to read the story, as always, if you haven't, looked in the description the past 5, chapters, link for everything will be in description, as well as a link to Brad's channel, which he is helping me on these chapters, so go check both of those things out. Anyway, I also did a story for Sugar Cube Radio. If you want to go check that out, link will be in the description. I read Insomnia by Pale Horse, so y'all better go check that one out. Also, I realized there's a lot of voices in this one, and I kind of fucked up, and I had to go back and rewatch the very first one because of recurring characters. And Jesus, I didn't know that I was so monotone back then. And I still am, but I'm working on it. So if you could just bear with me, I'm working on it, right? My voices aren't, I don't have a wide variety yet, but I'm working on it. So just bear with my voices for the time being. Anyway, let's get into it. This is Chapter 6, The Brother. Why am I evil? It's simple, you see. I harbor a hate for every pony. Spike's eyes widened, unable to comprehend the news he had just been given. That pony was your brother? Luna nodded.
Something like that. But it is unimportant. What is important is that you know how big of a threat Dark Conquest is.
I don't understand. Was he always like this? He said something about being once goody two-shoes and butterfly farts. Luna couldn't help but smile a little.
At least his humor never changed. But to answer your question, no, he wasn't always like this. Our brother used to be a caring and compassionate pony, and a great soldier. But he became corrupted, lost all faith in his own kind, and tried to destroy all life as we know it.
But you stopped him, right?
Yes, but we were unable to purge him of his evil, so we imprisoned him.
Why not just kill him and be done with it? That's what I would have done.
You ask me to kill my own brother? He was family. Would you kill your family?
I never knew my family. I was just an egg when Twilight hatched me.
Then what about Twilight? Would you kill her?
The dragon's heart turned to stone. The thought of living without Twilight seemed dreadful. A life without any of his friends, especially his precious Rarity, would be a pointless, unlivable life. No.
It is pointless to argue about this. Conquest lives, and that's all that matters at this moment.
There was a moment of silence. Spike had to accept that he was wrapped up in this. This conquest who wanted to kill all the ponies, maybe even all the life in the world, was now his problem. He felt the heat boil in his gut. Anything on this planet that threatens Rarity would meet the full extent of his wrath. So let's go.
What?
I said, let's go. Spike attempted to lift himself out of the bed, but a sharp pain in his side kept him down.
You're still injured, Spike. And even if you weren't, Conquest would kill you in seconds.
Thanks for the pep talk, Coach.
I'm serious, Spike. He's the most dangerous being I have ever seen, and it took all of our combined power to imprison him in the center of the earth. Even there, he still has influence.
What do you mean, influence? Luna was about to answer him when Celestia, who had just started to calm down after destroying half of the room, turned her attention to the dragon. It means he's building an army. A few days ago, we had gotten word that both the Griffins and the Minotaurs were defecting. Defecting? They're gathering their forces deep within the fire rocks, next to the wasteland.
You mean the wasteland? The same wasteland that we banished?
Correct. The same place where we banished Queen Chrysalis. That's not good, is it? No, she still carries a grudge against the ponies, and will most surely join Conquest. The dragon collapsed down on the bed. Things were really looking bad for Equestria if an army was forming to destroy it. Well, what do we do now? Luna raised one of her eyebrows.
Well, we assemble the royal army and any allied nation willing to help us in our hour of need. You need to get some rest. You start your training in the morning.
Oh, right. The training. Well, how hard can that be? Luna smiled and gave him a little wink.
You'll see soon enough.
The two princesses left the room, leaving the dragon to sleep. As he turned in his sleep, he dreamed of Rarity. It hadn't even been a day, and he already could not stand to be apart from her. He had thought about what he was getting into. A war with an alicorn? He feared for his life. Was this conquest really that powerful? He had seen him in that shadowy world, a crazy pony with hatred for all life. For Rarity he would do this. He'd give his life for her. I love you, Rarity, and I'll do anything to protect you. He slowly drifted to sleep. 5 astraces. Yeah, I don't know why I keep counting. It's always 5. But I think, whatever. Okay, moving on. Spike awoke from the knocking at the door. Go away, he mumbled, and he turned in his sleep, covering his head with the covers. The door slowly creaked open as he heard the sound of footsteps approaching. I said leave me alone. He got up from the covers. What part of that is hard to understand? Is that any way to treat your love, Spike? Rarity! Sure enough, there standing was his beautiful cloud-white mare. She was perfect down to the last microscopic detail. Her hair was messy in the most enchanting way, and she had the most beautifully slimming black and white dress. The dragon was in shock. Rarity, what are you doing here? You think that I would just let you come here all on your own? She jumped on the bed and on top of the dragon. Besides, I thought we can continue where we left off last night. She gave a sultry look to her dragon as she slowly leaned in for a kiss. Spike kissed her back. It felt so nice to be close to her again. Her silky smooth hair, her snow-soft fur, her sweet-tasting lips. It was all perfect. Just like her. I love you, he moaned in between kisses. Really? 'Cause I don't. Spike's heart skipped a beat. What did you say? He prayed he'd misheard her. The mare leaned back from the dragon, her smile growing toothy and sinister. Why would I ever love you, Spike? When it's so much simpler to use you. Rarity? He was nervous by the way Rarity was acting. The mare's laughter grew louder and louder, and deeper and deeper. She opened her eyes. They were no longer the sapphire blue he fell in love with, but rather a crimson red that he feared. Her smile grew bigger, too big for her face. Her skin started to crack as if it were made of clay. The cracks on her face spread wider, a black fluid leaking from her eyes and mouth as she continued to laugh like a mad mare. Rady's head exploded into a dusty cloud of dirt and smoke. Spike could still hear her laughing, but it wasn't the same as before. It was haunting and playful at the same time, and when the dust finally cleared, a new dark head sat on top of Rarity's body.
You kissed a colt and you liked it!
Conquest sang playfully, amused at the terrified expression on Spike's face.
Did you like the taste of my cherry chapstick?
Conquest.
The one and only! I thought I'd drop by and spread a little misery on the crap stain that is your existence.
What's wrong with you? Spike crawled out of his bed.
Oh, Spike, Spike, Spike. Ah.
The rest of Conquest's body started to turn back to its normal black coat.
There are so many things wrong with me.
So what are you doing here? I thought you weren't coming for another month. The alicorn snored at the remark.
Oh, I'm not really here. I'm just swimming around inside that teeny tiny little brain of yours. It's a wonderful side effect of the Pandora box.
Spike remembered that box. That evil little box. So that's why the princesses don't use it.
Selfish, really.
Conquest levitated a piece of Rarity's head, crumpling it with his magic.
My sisters claim to be all loving and that I'm some sort of psychopath. They're half right.
He turned to Spike.
I am a psycho, a terrible pony who likes to do terrible things to all the terrible ponies in this terrible world.
That's what they told me. That you went crazy and tried to kill everything.
Yeah, they would just tell you that, wouldn't they?
What do you mean? A wide grin came on Conquest's face.
Would you like to hear the real story, with every dirty little detail?
Spike rolled his eyes. Do I even have a choice?
Not really.
Joked the dark alicorn, settling upside down on the ceiling.
I guess we could start when I was young, back when I was known as Curator.
5 astraces. And I skipped too far, so 1 minute. Alright, we're back. Alright. 1984 BC, before Celestia. The skies were clear of the Everfree Forest, as the dim, blue sky of the day showed itself. It was always the same, dark blue skies in the morning and pitch-black darkness at night. The sunless day peered all over the new land and into a very large and shanty house in the middle of the woods. A dark blue Pegasus slowly opened his dreary eyes, letting out a loud yawn to shake away his morning grogginess. He turned over to see his wife, a purple unicorn with a similar colored mane. He gave her a little nudge with his hoof. "Hey, you awake?" He continued to poke her. Slowly, the mare turned over, staring daggers at her husband. "I am now." She looked rather annoyed at being so rudely wakened. She looked out the window, seeing that it was still dark blue outside. "Would you like to explain why you woke me up so early?" "What? Can't a pony just wake up to the most beautiful mare in Equestria without all these hostilities?" The unicorn gave him a little sleepy smile. "You're terrible." She gave him a long nuzzle. She slowly climbed on top of him, giving him quick little kisses all across his face. "You know how I get in the morning." "Exactly." The Pegasi grinned, returning the kisses from his wife. "How do you expect me to resist a little early morning fun?" "Like this," she answered, quickly rolling off her husband and out of the bed. She started walking to the door and making sure to take extra long struts as she walked. "Sky, aren't you coming?" God damn it, I've been in this. Oh, god damn it. Oh, man. I feel you, man. Oh, anyway. I might be. "You're so gross sometimes. It's like I married a child." Night Sky flirted out of bed, landing next to his wife. "I thought that's what you loved about me." She didn't answer. She just smiled at him as they headed down the stairs to the cabin. In the little wooden kitchen of the house, there were already 3 ponies sitting down at a large round table. A large brown earth pony chewing on some strings of hay, a white Pegasus fiddling with her light green mane, and a white earth mare with a hay-yellow mane cooking something that smelled absolutely scrumptious. The brown pony looked up from his plate.
"Morning, Sky. Solar rise,"
he said, still chewing on a straw of hay. "Good morning, Quickdraw." She took a seat next to Quickdraw. That Sky walked up to the table, taking an apple from a plate and started eating it. "How is every pony this morning?"
"Just fine, brother. Although I wish I could get this knot out of my hair."
"I'm sure you'll figure it out," the brother said. Solar Rise looked out the window, the sun shining brightly through it. "Hey, is Curator up yet?" Quickdraw looked at the Pegasus.
"I don't think so. I haven't seen him up yet."
They heard the sounds of hoofs creaking on the floorboards. Night Sky looked to the ceiling. "Well, sounds like he's up." A young alicorn made his way down the stairs. His dark red mane was riddled with bedhead, and his white fur was fizzy and stuck up on its end. He gave out a long, obnoxious yawn.
Morning, pup. Mom.
"Curator, you've got to stop staying up so late. What do you even do so late at night anyways?"
Curator tried to gulp his shame.
Just, you know, stuff.
Solar Eyes folded her hooves. "Stuff?
Yeah, stuff.
What kind of stuff?"
You know, just stuff. Can we just drop it, please?
"Why do you want to drop it, son?" his father asked, taking interest in the subject. Curator looked at Quickdraw for support.
Uncle Q, help me out here.
He shook his head.
"I'm staying out of this,"
He said, still chewing on his hay.
"Son, I want you to be honest with us. Are you exploring your body?"
What?
"Because it's completely natural to be curious. When I was young, I used to..."
Leaving!
He bolted out the door.
I'll see you later.
He slammed the door shut behind him.
My parents are so weird.
"Aren't they?"
Curator looked up to the forest to see a tall white mare walk out, her colorful hair wrapped up in a long ponytail. She smiled playfully at the white stallion.
Good morning, Celestia. No Luna?
Celestia shook her head.
"She's waiting for us in town."
All right then, let's go.
The two headed into the woods and towards the town. 5 astraces. Spike scratched his head. "Was that thing with your mother really necessary?"
Of course not!
He flowed down from the ceiling and landed beside Spike.
But I find it nice and disturbing nonetheless.
And the princess had a ponytail?
Ah, yes, it was quite adorable.
So when are we going to get to the part where you go crazy?
Patience, dragon.
The alicorn smiled.
This is a long trip down the rabbit hole.
So you just met up with Celestia. Then what?
That, my scaly friend, is when I met her, and my life changed forever.
5 astraces. Curator and Celestia were walking down the dusty path, admiring the scenery. Even though it was a cloudy day, the forest still looked beautiful. The spring flowers were coming in nicely, and the crisp green leaves of the trees were starting to grow back as well.
It sure is a lovely day.
Celestia bent down to smell a budding rose, taking in its fragrance.
Guess it is.
Curator looked at a squirrel scurry up a tree and onto the tree branch. The furry critter began cracking the nut on the branch, until it got through its thick shell. He happily grabbed the nutty treat and stuffed it into his mouth. The squirrel was about to swallow when there was a rattle in the trees, the squirrel looking curiously at it. Another squirrel jumped through the leaves and landed next to the other squirrel. The second squirrel seemed more perky and curvy, probably a female. She seemed to look at the squirrel's puffed up cheeks as she held her stomach. The male squirrel stared back at her, feeling compassionate. He spat out the nut, stretching out his hands, offering it to her. She greedily took it and was about to swallow the whole thing, but stopped, looking at the kindness in the male squirrel's eyes. She lowered the nut from her mouth and slammed it on the branch, splitting it in two. She handed the male squirrel one of the halves and they ate together. When they were finished with their meals, both squirrels took off together in the trees. Curator watched the two squirrels run through the trees together and sighed.
Something wrong, brother?
Questioned Celestia, concerned for her brother.
Do you believe in love, Tia?
He looked towards his sister.
As much as any pony, I guess. Why do you ask?
No reason. I just feel so lonely sometimes. Those squirrels in that tree, did you see that? They just met by chance, and with a small act of kindness, they run off together.
Well, you have me.
She put a hoof on his shoulder.
And Luna, so you're not alone.
Curator smiled.
Thanks, Tia, but I'm looking for something more than friendship.
Celestia was about to say something, but a scream cut through the forest. Curator turned towards the scream.
What was that?
Somebody screaming.
She said, running towards the noise, Curator following closely behind. There was another cry for help. It was getting louder and louder with every step they took. The two burst through the bushes and into the clearing. A pink unicorn was surrounded by a pack of wood-looking animals. Timber wolves. There must have been about 5 of the wolves. They snarled like dogs as they surrounded their prey. The pink unicorn gave a third high-pitched scream.
Somebody help me, please!
Her body was shaking with fear.
Celestia, I'm going to create a distraction. You get her out of here.
Celestia nodded as she unfolded her wings and took off in the air. Curator turned his attention back to the wolves. They were starting to close in on the pony. They snarled and howled as one of them leapt at the pink mare. She flinched, expecting the claws of the beast to tear into her body, but she opened her eyes to see a timber wolf floating in the air surrounded by a yellow aura. Curator concentrated as he flung the wolf into the air and deep into the forest.
Hey! Over here, you overgrown twigs!
The wolves turned to his direction, growling at him. The 4 remaining wolves charged at him. Curator grinned cockily as he prepared another spell. This time he aimed for the ground ahead of the sprinting attackers. Giant pillars of earth erupted from the ground beneath the wolves. 2 of the beasts were catapulted into the air and crashed back to the ground, unconscious. The other 2 managed to swiftly dodge the earth spikes and continue their charge towards the alicorn. Curator took to the air, flying swiftly and agilely towards the timber wolves. The first wolf tried to jump on the pony, but Curator quickly air-rolled and bucked the wolf with his back hooves, large chips of wood breaking off the wolf's face. That left only one. The beast howled as he stared down the alicorn, growling in an attempt to phase his prey. Curator lifted an eyebrow, staring humorlessly at the wolf. He flicked his head back slightly, signaling for the final wolf to try his luck at him. It did not hesitate as the wolf made a last-ditch effort to slaughter the pony. It did not make it far. Celestia landed full force from the air and onto the animal with a sickening crunch. Curator could hear the wolf's back snapping and its face breaking from the thunderous stomp of his sister.
And ponies say I'm useless.
She pressed her hoof down on the wolf's cracked head.
I had it under control, you know.
I know.
She stepped off the whimpering timber wolf.
But I can't let you have all the fun.
Curator just rolled his eyes.
Did you at least get that mare to safety?
She sure did.
An angelic voice answered from behind him. There stood the most beautiful unicorn Curator had ever had the pleasure to lay his eyes on. She had a straight, dark pink mane that matched her entrancing violet eyes. She had a pink fur coat that reminded him of cotton candy. Curator was about to say something, but the ecstatic mare pounced on the male alicorn, her face mere inches from his.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
She bounced up and down on the alicorn.
I was just picking some wild berries and daisies for lunch when all of a sudden those terrible creatures emerged from the forest. I ran as fast as I could, but they surrounded me. I thought I was a dead mare.
She looked down at Curator.
Then you came to my rescue. You're like a guardian angel.
She pulled up at the alicorn and gave him a huge hug, which he gladly accepted.
Hey, it's no problem, Miss...
I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? I'm Sweet Symphony.
Sweet Symphony.
It was such a beautiful name, a name he wanted to say over and over again, a name that the alicorn could write songs about its unparalleled beauty, and of her beauty as well. To feel this mare filled him with such warm feelings. He could sense the emptiness that had once troubled him quickly disappear. He smiled as he just took in the moment. Celestia smiled slyly at the two.
Well, well, well.
What?
He broke the embrace with the unicorn.
We need to get going. Luna's still waiting for us.
Oh, right.
He turned to Symphony.
Sorry, Miss Symphony, but we need to get to town.
She smiled at him.
Please, sir, call me Symphony.
She batted her eyelashes.
Okay,
He grinned back.
but only if you call me Curator.
Well, Curator, I was just heading back to town anyways, so do you mind if I tag along?
She dragged her hoof softly down his chest.
I'm sure a big, strong pony like you could protect me if those nasty wolves come back.
Of course!
He quickly covered his mouth.
I mean, sure, that'd be nice.
Wonderful.
She started to walk towards the town, making extra sure to sway her hips as she walked. Celestia looked at her dumbstruck brother, trying to stifle her laughter.
Well, you seem happy.
What makes you say that?
He asked, his head still in dreamland.
Oh, nothing. Just that you have a massive wing boner.
What?
Curator looked at his back. Sure enough, both of his white wings were sprung up and fully erect. He blushed as he quickly folded them back to his side as he followed Symphony and Celestia into town. 5 asterisks. Wow, was all Spike could say, staring at Dark Conquest. The stallion in the story he was telling was the exact opposite to the one standing before him. Curator sounded like a loving, caring, goofy, and good-hearted pony. Conquest was terrible, sick-minded, and just reeked of evil. Are you sure you were ever this pony?
Sickening, isn't it? How naive I used to be, believing in such foolish things like compassion, love, and other ponies' well-being.
Spike was still confused. What about Sweet Symphony? Whatever happened to her?
Oh, she plays a very important part in this play.
He got it up and started to float casually in the air, lying back as if he were laying on a couch.
For she is everything. The darkness and the light, the sand and the glass. She was my everything. Emphasis on was.
You're just saying pointless things now.
A meaningless word is a word still said, even if its meaning flies over your head.
The dragon just stared at the floating alicorn.
You see, Spike, we are all capable of great things. Terrible things, but great.
What does that mean?
It means nothing.
Then it was pointless to say,
Exactly.
shouted Conquest as he twirled his hoof in the air, a shadowy martini appearing in his hoof. What are you saying?
It's a meaningless point because a point has no meaning.
He took a sip from his ink-colored drink.
You think the things we do are meaningful, but they are rather pointless. A needle has a point, and scissors have two, but a meaning will never have a point. It's true.
You've gotta be joking. Conquest jumped down from the air and playfully locked the dragon in a headlock.
Words have no meaning and are not to be trusted. In fact, this is the only truth you will ever hear. Haven't you been paying attention to what I've said?
Spike shook him off and popped his head free. All I've been hearing is the rant of a mad colt.
Good.
He looked out the window. He could see the moon beginning to set, which meant the sun would soon rise.
Well, it's getting early, which means it's getting late.
He started to walk across the room, his horn glowing a blood red. Soon a red and black door opened.
I have to go. But first, would you like to know what happened to the squirrels?
Spike was afraid to ask. Conquest answered anyways.
I found out that they lived happily ever after, and they had lots of little squirrely babies.
Oh,
Yeah.
His cheeks puffed up, and he started to make gagging sounds. He spat out 2 bone-white squirrel skeletons.
And then I ate them!
Spike looked at the slimy skeletons. He wasn't sure what disgusted him before, the fact that he ate 2 innocent creatures, or that he actually ate a squirrel. You're sick.
You think that's bad? You should have seen what I did to their children!
The dragon couldn't pull his eyes away from the bones on the floor. Monster.
Let's just say that the kids begged me to eat them by the time I was done.
Conquest gave a little chuckle, remembering that fond memory. Leave. Leave and never come back.
Tisk tisk, Spike. I will leave, but I will come back.
He gave Spike another one of his bizarrely large smiles, his dagger-like teeth covered with fresh blood.
These talks are too much fun to pass up.
He coughed up another bone, a squirrel's foot.
Besides, I still have to finish my story.
He headed into the magical door.
Till the next night, dragon!
With that, he disappeared. There was a flash of light and then a fade to black. 5 astraces. Spike woke up in a large bed, his head ringing and his stomach aching. What had happened last night? Was it a dream? More like a nightmare. The psychotic pony had rambled him to insanity. The things he said about words being pointless and lies made him think. He had misheard Rarity at the hospital, which was good, but the princesses hadn't been fully truthful to him. But what he did to those squirrels. Even if he didn't eat other creatures, he'd eaten fish to help his body grow when he was young, but he would never eat red meat. How could a pony, vegetarian by nature, devour 2 squirrels?
I don't know, Spike. How could he eat us?
Spike looked to the ground and almost screamed. 2 squirrel skeletons laid on the floor in a puddle of drool. And that was Chapter 6 of For the Ones We Love by Flim Flam Brothers. Again, hope you don't mind my weird-ass voices, but whatever. It's my reading. I do what I want. In any case, thank you again for listening. Links to everything will be in the description. Links to the original story, to Brad's channel, and if you want to check it out, the Insomnia story I did on Sugar Cube Radio. So, with that, thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next reading. Peace.